Hi everyone, hope you're safe and doing great. I'm Sandro, I'm a professional calligrapher. We are in my studio and in this series of videos I'll be talking about Speedball products. Today we will focus on the Speedball B series nib. I'll talk about some technical features of the nib and I'll be doing a calligraphy demonstration as well. Let's get into it. That's the Speedball B nib. The key feature of this nib is that it has a circular terminal that makes a rounded monolinear stroke. One of the most frequent asked questions is why the nib is not working. There is not just one answer, it may depend on several different things. When the nib is new, the ink may have some trouble to get the grip on the surface. You can clean it with a bit of alcohol and a piece of paper, or with some dish soap and an old toothbrush. You can also use a little flame. Insert the nib in the holder first, then pass the point quickly through the flame a couple of times. Let it cool and if necessary, clean every leftover with a piece of paper. Be very careful to not burn yourself. Eventually, with time and use, the ink will flow correctly. It can depend also on how much confidence we have with these instruments. How much we feel that the nib is working right on the surface, if you are keeping the right slant of the nib compared to the paper. Sometimes can be the paper that repels the ink a bit, or the ink, if it's too thick, can be a factor too. Sometimes the final part of the nib is not perfectly aligned. This can affect the correct working of the nib. What we have to do is just take the small pincers and positioning it in contact with the fold. Then we bend up or down very gently and carefully so we can align the foils of the nib. Loading the nib is another important part. I suggest you to use a brush. Load the brush first, then slide it by the side of the nib, like this. If we dip directly into the bottle, some ink will remain in the final part, and this will affect the quality of the stroke when we place the nib onto the paper. Do not load the nib too much, just half of the reservoir will do it. If we load it too much, we won't have control of the flow of the ink, especially if we use calligraphic or fountain pen ink, of which we cannot control the density. When we bend the nib on the side and apply pressure, the foil can get stuck on one another. This can be a problem if we have a loaded nib, because the foil can snap and splatter ink on the page. If this happens, just stop writing and reposition the foils correctly with an old piece of cloth or paper. If the foils get stuck often, one solution may be taking a piece of very fine sandpaper and pass it through every foil so we can remove some friction between them. Well guys, this is it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. I will be back with some more videos like this one, so keep an eye on that. Tell me what you think about this nib in the comments below, if you had some practice with it, what's your favorite style of writing and so on. Thank you all for watching, stay safe and keep writing.